Welcome to another RSR. Tonight, I am making my 2022 FIFA Club World Cup predictions. 7 predictions on the full record. See if I get 7 out of 7. We're going from round 1 to champions, of course. You could keep this in mind as the tournament goes along. And maybe at times, I don't think I will. I think the final's my first actual prediction video after this. It's everything, then we get to the final, then we predict the third place and final. So only 2 new predictions will you hear if anything changes. But, with that being said, let's start with round 1. Al-Hilal of Egypt and CAF taking up the host spot because Wydad Casablanca, even though they're from Morocco, won the CAF Champions League. They switch spots. Al-Hilal plays like they're the host of this tournament against Auckland City FC, the OFC Champions League winner from New Zealand. And there's a definite favorite here. There's the famous Al-Hilal of Egypt and Auckland City, who is the plucky underdog here. And I think we all know, if we know our stuff about Club World Cup and where these clubs stand, I think we know that Al-Hilal will win this first round match to go on to face Seattle Sounders in the second round. It's not to disrespect Auckland, and anything can happen in this tournament, but I feel like if Al-Hilal could hold down Bayern a couple of years ago and look like they have a chance to possibly win that match over a couple of portions of that match, they could easily handle Auckland City, even if things have slightly changed, which I'm sure they have. Again, Al-Hilal wins that first match to move on to face the Seattle Sounders, which will be match 3 of the tournament. But we're going in order of which semifinal these teams can make. So semifinal 4 and 5, or match 4 and 5. With that being said, let's move on then. Match 3 that ends up being the team that goes to semifinal match 4, semifinal 1. Seattle Sounders FC of CONCACAF and MLS versus my predicted, again, the winner of Al-Hilal versus Auckland City FC, no matter what. But I predict Al-Hilal to get there and be the winner of that first round tie. So again, they will play Seattle in my predictions. And I think that'll mostly be likely. I don't think this is anything new. But hey, if anything happens, Seattle definitely should win that match against Auckland City. But against Al-Hilal, it's a bit harder for Seattle. But I think the fact that they just started their preseason and they played pretty well against some German teams, European teams, and they played well, 3-2 loss and a 0-0 draw. I think that tells you that Seattle has the chance to be able to beat Al-Hilal. If they play their best football, and they're already in preseason form, or they're just in preseason form, they're fresh, and they played some good football against a team who is a level better than Al-Hilal. So, I like Seattle here. I'm going to go with the possible upset. And you could say, Ryan, you're in CONCACAF. You may not like Seattle, at least enough for them to see them win, but you would like to see them do well. I mean, yeah, I would like to see them do well overall. Not win, but do well. But I do think they could win. If you look at their preseason results they just had against the teams they've played and the team that they're bringing, the squad that they're bringing, if they play to their best, and maybe even 80%, they should win this match. I think they will win this match and go on to the semifinal. Seattle Sounders go on to face Real Madrid. That's my prediction. Next up, match 2, but the one that leads to semifinal 2, match 5. Wydad Casablanca of Morocco, the CAF champions, the African champions, versus Al-Hilal SFC of Saudi Arabia, the AFC Champions League winners. I think Al-Hilal is a slightly better team here. I really do. I think they got more stars. They got a greater team. They got a greater system. about them. They have more history, and they just have a better thoughtfulness of what this tournament means. Wydad is new. And the thing about Wydad here is they're a good team, and they played well in the CAF Champions League, but I think Al-Hilal has more experience in really big matches and way more respect for what this tournament should mean and what it means to them, that I think in the end, I've seen Wydad play, I've seen Al-Hilal play. And I think Al-Hilal is the better team. They got Odion Gallo. They have a very clinical striker. And, you know, I think that really helps. A clinical striker who's done it in multiple leagues, I do think that really helps. Al-Hilal win to face Flamengo in the semifinals, which means my predicted semifinals are Seattle Sounders versus Real Madrid and Flamengo versus Al-Hilal. You have Seattle Sounders in semifinal 4 of CONCACAF versus Real Madrid, the UEFA Champions League winners, the European Cup winners of Spain. Real Madrid versus Seattle Sounders. And even though they have injuries upon injuries, as I saw on FOTMob, I can't be biased. Or I wouldn't say it's biased, because again, I don't want Seattle to get that close to a final as a Toronto fan. But I can't be Cloud Cuckoo Lander here. Who knows? Maybe an upset happens. Maybe they're primed for it. Real Madrid hasn't been great to the level they were last year with the Champions League win. But Real Madrid has Carlo Ancelotti versus Brian Schmetzer. And Seattle is pretty washed, too. I mean, they're basically staring down the barrel of a rebuild after this season. They have one more season with their champion, current CONCACAF winning MLS 2-time champion core. And this is their moment, their party, to prove that they could get that MacGuffin. I don't think it happens. Carlo Ancelotti out-tactics Brian Schmetzer. Real Madrid, even with injuries, find a way to beat Seattle. It may not be as overblown as you would expect. It may look like a respectable scoreline, but I feel like Real Madrid goes to the final. Flamengo versus Al-Hilal. Flamengo, the winner of the Copa Libertadores Brazilian team, versus Al-Hilal, Saudi Arabia, of course, the AFC Champions League winners. I like Al-Hilal. I think they're a good team, but Flamengo, they still got Gabigol. They still got a really good team. They got talent up and down the pitch. They definitely, and by the way, let's just remember they gave Liverpool a run for their money a couple of years ago when they were last in this tournament. Al-Hilal does not match up to Madrid or Liverpool. I got to go Flamengo. Flamengo wins the semifinal. I think that's a pretty easy call. Maybe it's chalk, but I think you have to go with it. Our third place match will be Seattle Sounders FC versus Al-Hilal SFC. I think Seattle bounces back to win the third place match. I think they win on penalties. There is no extra time in the third place match. It is straight to penalties. The final has extra time, and every other game has extra time. Third place goes straight to penalties, and I think Seattle ends up winning on penalties. I know they have problems with it recently, but I think Stefan Freiberg goes beast mode and finds a way to win them bronze. Seattle wins third place. And finally, your final, Real Madrid versus Flamengo. I think this goes to extra time as well. I could say penalties, but I'm not. I think Real Madrid will win by the skin of their teeth. Again, lots of injuries, a good bit of injuries. But Real Madrid still has more quality in their B- team than Flamengo has in their A team. And Real Madrid, again, Carlo Ancelotti is a dawn of a manager. He will out-tactic you, even if he shouldn't. He will. So, with that being said, I predict that Real Madrid, CF of Spain, the UEFA champions, will be your 2022 FIFA Club World Cup champions. Flamengo is your second place team, your silver medalist, and Seattle is your bronze medalist, which isn't bad, considering that you are the second tier of the big guys, or I should say, there's like 4 tiers here. You got Real Madrid, you got Flamengo, A- tier. You got Seattle and Al-Hilal. Then you have Wydad and Al-Ahly, and then you have Auckland City. If you're on B tier, right under A- tier, you probably, third place is probably the best place for you. You know, if you could get the silver medal, that's great. If you could somehow BS your way into the gold, even better. But I got Real Madrid winning, Flamengo being the runners-up, silver medal, and Seattle winning the bronze, which, again, as I said, isn't bad for them. It's still an accomplishment that no other MLS team has done. And there are CONCACAF teams that have gotten further, Tigres, but still, bronze is damn good considering, you know. It's still hard for some CONCACAF teams to win bronze. Chivas, Monterrey, 2021's Club World Cup, which was in 2022, but you get my point. Sometimes even they screw it up, so it's not a foolproof plan. With that being said, if you like this video, like it, share, subscribe. You know what it is. Tell your friends. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that bell notification once subscribed. Send super chats on the live streams. Comment on this video. Put us to play. Share with friends and family. All that great stuff. If you're in Dynasty Stars, I hope you enjoyed month ahead. Tomorrow, the 1st of February, we got a live in RSR for Al-Ahly versus Auckland City FC. We are covering the whole Club World Cup. Don't worry. We're going to have some fun with it. With that being said, let's see how this turns out. Let's see how my predictions turn out. We'll find out. I'm Ryan and I'm out. Peace. Seattle, do well, but don't do too well.